A very good afternoon, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. President Advocate Nelson Chamisa has reassured the business sector, and this is a story which we need to take a look at this point in time. Remember, the country is in distress. Everything is not moving. Several things are happening at this point in time. But we still have hope in Advocate Nelson Chamisa because he continues to inspire confidence, and his government is going to tackle the economic problems, the political problems, the social problems which we have in the nation of Zimbabwe, such that we become a more prosperous nation in the southern hemisphere. So Zimbabwe's opposition leader, President Nelson Chamisa, has articulated this vision for a more stable Zimbabwe that fosters a thriving business environment. President Chamisa underscored the significance of a robust leadership founded on integrity, respect, accountability, and the rule of law to engender an environment conducive to business prosperity. He also addressed the critical issues impacting businesses in Zimbabwe, emphasizing the necessity for economic stability. So wherever you go, economic stability is key. Businesses always thrive where there is economic stability. In Zimbabwe, we don't have it, and everything is upside down. Throughout the millennium, Zimbabwean businesses have been beset by recurrent challenges, leading to the erosion of their investments on multiple occasions. Citizens have similarly suffered substantial financial setbacks, including losses in pensions, savings, insurance, and he also voiced a reproach against the incumbent leadership and the adverse effects of fraudulent elections in the country's economic landscape. President Chamisa has delineated a policy blueprint aimed at revitalizing the economy and reintroducing the Zimbabwean dollar, which means we can only have the Zimbabwean dollar back into circulation when we have dealt with the fundamentals which needs to be put in place. Everything must be working together. There must be confidence. We must make sure that that currency is widely acceptable. The currency can never be accepted when the leadership bringing it is not acceptable. You know, it doesn't work like that. You don't expect to see Nunzi ichiburitsa uchi. You don't expect to see that. Haungaende pane nhunzi padzakaungana unoti ndaenda kwenda kunobura uchi. No. You have to go where there are bees. So this government which we have will never produce anything tangible, anything different. But if you look at what President Advocate Nelson Chamisa is talking about, his administration's focal points will be, number one, accountability. Number two, people-centric policies. Number three, departure from self-enrichment driven politics. We have rested so long on the getting into politics to make money. I know a lot of people who say, is this which I took Dr. Beg? You don't do that. We need people who get into politics to serve. We need people who get into politics to sacrifice. Because when you are serving, you are sacrificing. It means you are having sleepless nights so that the country moves forward, not so that you make money. Ukaona vakomana vakalaina apo papa airport ingi kuti vari papo kuti nyika ifambe mberi, izvo they are lining up because they know kuti they will be getting allowances avo kuchiedza. This is how they operate. They are making money out of everything and anything. So, you know, the strategy for President Advocate Nelson Chamisa is to make sure that they prioritize domestic direct investment, which is going to make sure that they generate and circulate wealth within Zimbabwe. Then, alongside, they attract foreign direct investment to complement sectors where DDI is deficient, which means our people in the diaspora will have a key role to play because major drivers of domestic direct investment. They have learned a lot. They know a lot about what needs to be done because they've seen it in other countries, which means they will come here, start to implement it. What you need is a government which is going to create a conducive environment for ideas to be implemented. So you will see in areas where we lack, then you see foreign direct investment coming in to make sure that they fill in the gap. But the issue is not about making about our raw materials leaving Zimbabwe. We must not have our raw materials leaving Zimbabwe, which means Zimbabwe must bankroll massive industrialization. And once we have done that, we have the possibility of becoming the economic hub of the whole of African continent. Zimbabwe can do it because we have the potential. We have land, we have minerals, we have labor, we have people with ideas. What we lack is an accountable government. We have a country with the capacity and capability to generate electricity and supply the whole southern region. Number one, from our climate, which is the use of the solar systems. Number two, we have the regions like in the Matabeleland regions, the Masvingo regions. We have those regions with high wind speed, which means we can utilize windmills for electricity generation again. So to complement the solar systems, which means we can have solar systems and wind systems in terms of generating power. Because the majority of the time in areas like Menezi, Cherezi, you always have high-speed winds. Then we have another issue of dams. Masvingo, it carries one of the biggest dams in Zimbabwe. Chokwe Mkosi, there is also Rundetende, which will be bigger than Chokwe Mkosi Dam, which will be probably the biggest dam, even bigger than Kariba Dam itself. Which means we can maximize hydroelectricity generation, we can maximize the wind electricity generation, maximize the solar electricity generation, which is going to make sure that we then be able to supply the most countries in the southern region, which is an advantage. Once you have all those things, then Zimbabwe at this point in time, it stands to have a chance to have an internet-based station right here in Zimbabwe, operating from Zimbabwe. So if Zimbabwe plays its cards very well, we can have an internet-based station right here in Zimbabwe, which means each and every country will be relying more on Zimbabwe in terms of internet, which means Zimbabwe on its own, it does have a lot of opportunities. Do you know that the people of Zimbabwe are the easiest to employ? Because we need to have mass industrialization, which means once we have embarked on mass industrialization, we are now employing our people who are experienced, working in Botswana, working in South Africa, working in the UK, working in the USA, working everywhere across the continent, which means we can put these people into the employment sector and we start to benefit as a nation. Once we have employed our people, we have empowered them to start their own initiatives, to start their own things. Look at how people are running around selling this, selling that, selling this. Imagine if we are to have a formal sector which is regulated and which is working very fine, which can be supported by the government again, which can fit into the vision which the country need to pursue. This is the issue President Nelson Chamisa is talking about. So we need to make sure that we complement our economy through activities, industrialization, the issue of sustainable mining activities happening, and also beneficiation of those minerals, such that they don't leave Zimbabwe as raw materials. They go as a finished product. By doing so, we have created a conducive environment for investment and job creation. So this is something which is going to catalyze economic growth. You know, one of the most important things we need to note at this point in time is that there are challenges which are posed by corruption right here in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has been working under a very corrupt regime, and the corruption is now in the blood of our people, which means it's not a silver bullet that when Chamisa gets into power tomorrow, everything will be sorted out. We will need to sort out the culture of corruption. which means it will need a dedicated team to work with Advocate Nelson Chamisa to wipe out corruption and to change and instill a better mentality in our people. Vanhu vedu vajaira kuti pese pangosvika ofisi yapinda andatodonedza mari, because vane culture yekuti pese panofanira kungobuda mari, pese panofanira kungodonha mari. Even if everything is automated and digital, they still want to leave something, because ndo zvatomuropa. So President Nelson Chamisa know about these issues. There is a plan which is there to make sure that he addresses that issue of corruption, that cancer of corruption. Then we need to make sure that we acknowledge and we uphold and or negotiate trade agreements to the benefit of the people of Zimbabwe and its economy. There are so many trade agreements which were reached upon by greedy people who wanted to self-enrich themselves. There is a need to have a government which is not going to come and say, let us punish everybody. No, because some of the countries might have entered into those trade agreements in all honesty, but because of the leadership which we have, they created problems, which means it will be a matter of looking what is it which is best for the nation of Zimbabwe, what is it which is not best for the nation of Zimbabwe. Then we focus on what is best, and what is not best, we put it aside. Or we renegotiate some positions to say, okay, here is the original position. But we think if we do A, B, C, D, we will have a balanced trade agreement. And that is going to boost the economy. We know that it's a setback, but it's something which can be done, which is doable with a competent team. And one of the most important things is that President Nelson Chamisa always advocate for an unblemished and dedicated police force. A dedicated police force which is corrupt-free is going to ensure that there is there is end to lawlessness. There is people are abiding to the laws, and every person who is breaking the law is punished and is brought to the courts so that he is reprimanded through the courts. Efficient courts will make sure kuti munhu hagarisi muremand, anoenda otongwa opuwa sentence yake. You are not left to walk scot-free because you have money. You have to face the music. If you are corrupt, you face the music. If you commit a crime, you face the music without looking at who you are. That is what he is advocating for. He is advocating for a government which is going to make sure that there is equality amongst our people. So, there are going to be substantial resistance and challenges. He knows about them because he has been there in this government. He knows the areas they face, the challenges, resistance, and so forth, all sorts of things during the GNU. And he does know how to address those issues, which means we don't need to lose hope because of the current shenanigans happening and the experiences we have had with this team. I know Zimbabweans hardworking, very committed to work. And what we lack is a truthful government, a serious government, which is going to be part of the vision, which is going to focus on transforming Zimbabwe economic powers. So I agree with the President Advocate Nelson Chamisa, and it's something very important to note that the business sector under the leadership of President Nelson Chamisa shall and will be protected and will thrive, and the people of Zimbabwe will immensely benefit. So as we continue to wait for change, let us continue to pray. Let us continue to remain in support of our president. Let us remain resolute, committed to the struggle, and we have to make sure that we are not moved by what ZANU-PF is doing, but we have to take our lessons, prepare ourselves for takeover, and make sure that we put everything in place so that we build a better Zimbabwe for all. I know that we have a lot of comrades in Zimbabwe, very capable, and we need capable hands. Corrupt-free people, people who want to do things not for their own benefit, but for the benefit of the future generations. People who consider future generations, who make decisions which will impact positively the lives of future generation. This is the kind of politics. This is the kind of politics which we want to have in Zimbabwe. If you look into Israel, the Israeli prime minister gave an opportunity to the opposition leader to be within the decision-making bodies. The opposition leader in Israel is part of the war cabinet. If you look at the wars which are happening between Israel, Hamas, and all other these groupings, the Houthis, whatsoever, they have this common agenda. It's because of the leadership of the president of or the prime minister of Israel. The leadership of Israel has brought a conducive environment for the opposition to thrive, for everybody to thrive, and so that they work together for the sake of their country. They are not doing it for themselves. They are doing it for the whole country, for the emancipation of their country. It doesn't matter how different people take it in terms of their approach. What matters at this point in time is the national approach, how the nation itself is approaching to its problems and to its things. But you look in Zimbabwe, everything is political. You go to Independence Day, slogans are being made. It's an issue of ZANU-PF. It's an issue. They don't even regard that there are several people who fought the liberation struggle, who are in the opposition, who are disagreeing with how they do everything. This is the reason why they had to force Ngomo to be part of their own team. We can't all agree on everything. We must have a common vision for the nation, but with the ability to agree and disagree and hold each other accountable. But you can only be held accountable when you have a competitive opposition. In Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa is destroying and killing the opposition, making sure that he silences opposing voices, not knowing that these opposing voices are always pointers to your problems and to your mistakes, because they see far much beyond what you see. So it's very easy and very simple. It's a matter of managing everything, bringing an equitable platform, political platform, where everybody can contribute to the building of the economy, not what we are seeing happening right here in the nation of Zimbabwe. So this is Team Zimbabwe, and a very great message from President Advocate Nelson Chamisa, and we continue to fight for change, and we continue to be led through his wisdom. We just pray, say that God quickens the issue of our revolution. We need it to happen much faster than any other thing. This is because we have suffered enough. Our people have suffered enough, and we have to save the future generations. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. And let me see if I can take some comments right here. Lucia, thank you very much for coming and for the support. Okay. Gomera says Chamisa is at risk of losing relevance, to be honest, because he is not visible. Ostalos and Chibaya deserve our support and promotion and uplifting as the two gentlemen are visible. Chamisa is not seen. Mkoma Gomera, when you see Ostalos, you see Nelson Chamisa. This is what you have to know. If you see Ostalos, you see Nelson Chamisa, because he is representing Advocate Nelson Chamisa. The issue about change is not about Nelson Chamisa coming publicly to show the people and to tell the people the strategies being worked in the boardrooms. We are living in a systematic political country where everything, the system has created an environment which is not conducive for the opposition to survive, which means that the opposition need to go into the trenches and to work behind the scenes so that they do things which are proper. Right now, President Nelson Chamisa is not working on something guesswork. He's working on something which is tangible and which is going to produce results. We are tired of using same methods without any meaningful results. We have been visible, he has been visible for a very long time, but nothing changed. It's a matter of changing a strategy. Changing strategy, bring change to the people of Zimbabwe. Our people have suffered enough. We have suffered enough. And it's time for us to put in place a strategy which is going to dislodge ZANU-PF once and for all, which means no two ways, no mistakes must be made. So this issue Nelson Chamisa is working on is not an issue yekuti ngatingozvimhanya tingogara tazviita. No, it's an issue of assessing each and everything to see strategy yedu yapo. What are the setbacks? What should we do? You must have people on the ground who are ready to support the cause and who are ready to support you in times of difficulties, everything. You need to build the relations with the authentic people. Authentic people. So it's not an issue you just rush things. You have to vet people, work with credible people, work with credible information, and then formulate a credible strategy. Then implement that strategy. And that is what is happening. So as long as you see those comrades working on the ground, be rest assured that something is being worked upon, and he's still in the political arena. He never left the political arena, but he is doing his things secretly, quietly, silently. Because what you have to know is, vanhu vedu vemuzimbabwe vakuda mari more than anything else. And people are ready to be paid huge sums of money so that they sell out the struggle. We have seen it happening. So many sellouts around us. So there is no need for him to share the strategy and share what he is planning. He must share his vision, not his strategy. His vision is what we are articulating, is what he is sharing on his platforms on almost a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. He touches on in critical issues and important issues. And that is the reason why we have to talk about them each and every time. Zim Lives Matter, thank you very much as well. And when is he going to in government? Okay. It's not a matter of discussing strategies right here. Strategies are there, but I'm not at privilege to discuss any of those strategies because these are sensitive issues which are being dealt with by him and the people who are involved in those issues. What you have to know is definitely change is coming. There is a total change of strategy. We talked about it. There is a total change of strategy. And what we can share, we shared about it. We talked about it, that the rural areas are the focal point at this point in time. The rural areas are the focal point. And for those who are witnessing what is happening, teams are everywhere across Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF is sweating as we speak in the rural areas. It's because of the presence of Team Chamisa. Avasikumira, basa riri kuitwa, basa riri kufamba. Zwelihle, thank you very much for coming. Good afternoon. May the good Lord watch over you and bless everybody who is live here on Africa and Beyond Television Network. And for those who have been supporting us for a very long time, I would want to thank you for sticking around and being with us on daily basis. What we can tell you is change is coming, and let us continue to pray. Let us continue to pray. Say that God fulfills what he always communicates. One of the most important things is to note that there is consensus within the political arena that Nelson Chamisa must take over. There is a leadership vacuum. ZANU-PF leadership is no longer in touch with the masses or with the grassroots. They are detached from the people, which means because of that leadership vacuum, Nelson Chamisa has to step in and take charge. And that is what he's doing, and is progressing very well. This is the reason why the regime is panicking, is sending threats everywhere, and they don't want us to continue to speak. But by the grace of God, we will continue to speak and make sure that we remain committed to the struggle. Thank you very much, everybody.